Oh, record on this computer.
You're
Ha
recording. Got
ha.
it. Okay. And I'm going to record
Ha
too.
ha ha.
Oh, you are now. Can I not record if you're recording? Shoot. I'm going to hit record to the cloud and see what happens there.
Okay.
Okay. Theoretically, we're both recording, I think.
Looks yeah, you have a cloud on your screen.
Yeah. And yours is recording locally?
That's what it says.
Okay,
Now
good.
I have an SSD, so it's not gonna go rattle rattle disk noise, but
Is Luke
um
connected?
I see
No,
Luke. Oh.
No, he's not connected. Okay. Oh, you hadn't said anything yet, so I was wondering if there's like an issue.
you were talking some technical gubbins, so I left you to it.
I finally took out the computer that's been in my closet for 2 years to start. I can't do a lot of things on it, but I can podcast from it and hopefully it won't be as glitchy. So,
All
Sounds
right.
good.
because the glitchiness is annoying. And now I don't have to hold a mic anymore. So that's kind of nice. It feels weird though. I feel like I should be holding a mic after doing that for what, 2.5 years or whatever it was.
You're insane, but maybe just take this moment to take a step back and just not be insane, and it's super cool. You like take
Right.
your arm and do something else with it.
Mm.
Hmm. Don't know.
Is this 84? I think it's 84,
It's
but you
84.
could have changed it anyway.
I wrote the summary.
Okay.
In at number 84, we're giving you the D.
D-War.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day here, and I just want to say roses are red, violets are blue. I'll show you my emoji after dinner for two.
Okay, that sounds good.
I
Although
didn't even say it
when
right.
when people
Emoji.
hear when people hear this, it'll be like 2 weeks ago that was Valentine's Day.
Even
So
better.
It'll
so
still be the year of the dragon, though.
you should wait
True.
52 weeks to listen to this episode. So it will be Valentine's Day again. This being Films and Filth, me being Matt, you being
Mark.
And me being Luke. That
I
you
just
was for the listeners.
I was just trying to figure out yeah, who would jump on it first. It was kind of like a race to the bottom or something like that. But
Well, just like a snake falling off a building.
so I think we should just take off the table like the surface dumb part of this movie that the title is Dragon Wars D War, which that's marketing's fault. That's marketing's fault. It should just be D War. Let's give the guy that much credit.
Is it two wars
Or
or one
Dragon
war?
Wars. One either would be fine.
Do you guys want to know
Apparently,
something funny?
sure.
There's a sequel being planned. Do you want to know what it's called? Can you guess?
D2, day two.
It's gonna be called D
Flight of
War
the Amugi.
D War 2. Not
Okay.
not Dragon Wars 2.
D War 2 Secret of the Dragons.
Ooh.
Exactly. D
So
War
Yeah, but
yeah,
then the
2.
third one's going to
colon.
be called Dragon Wars 3.
Yes. But I mean, the thing is, this movie production started on this movie in 2001 and it came out in 2008. I think production started on D War 2 in 2017, and so far as I know, nothing has been filmed.
Well, the D War franchise just needs some time to ferment, to
It's like
like a
Avatar.
fine wine.
Well, anyway, so what's everybody's relationship with Dragon Wars
I
D War?
misunderstood this movie. I remember seeing like posters and copies of it and stuff. I assumed it was like an Asylum Pictures cheapo budget straight to DVD thing. It was only after watching it and reading the Wikipedia I learned this was like the most expensive Korean film ever made at the time it came out.
It
Yep.
still
And
is. It still is. It's for some reason listed in a lot of places on the internet as a budget of around $32 million. Apparently, it was more
That
like
was the budget. That was
99.
the budget that was agreed. But then he went like triple budget.
99 million, which I think is almost 8 times the budget of The Host, the other Korean monster movie that most of us have seen.
Yeah.
I when this came out, I saw the trailer. I thought it looked like ass, and then I found out, oh, it's a Korean movie. I should go see it. I generally like Korean movies, but it was just out of the theater so fast. And apparently it got such a backlash that the company who distributed it authorized refunds for anyone who didn't want to see it, and then it disappeared from theaters really quickly after that.
In this film, the threat exists of like humanity being exterminated.
Yeah.
They should be. This film fucking slaps. I love this film. What the fuck is wrong with people?
I had this in my Amazon cart to buy it. I wanted rules.
Oh, I liked it. I'm gonna come on Lois simply because snake-like dragons don't make me happy.
Oh yeah, Matt hates snakes.
Yeah.
So I love snakes. That sucks.
Okay, well if that was good for you. No, yeah. I actually wrote in my notes here, but this like is a dream that I had like several years before it came out. So it wasn't like I'd seen this movie anywhere, because I remember having this dream where it's like a kind of an American apartment complex. Mark, think of where our friends used to live, and you used to live in the one near the Sequoia Middle School. That one, like that. It was like that, and then there was a giant serpent slithering between the buildings, and that was really a nightmarish dream for me for whatever reason.
Yeah, man.
But it looked like this movie, especially when it was like going down the suburban street. I mean, so substitute that with like apartment buildings, and that's like exactly my dream.
This would have been cooler if it had dragons instead of snakes, but I don't really want to nitpick because I did enjoy the snakes.
I want to nitpick because I didn't enjoy the snakes, but that's fine. If you like snakes, it's fine.
It's obvious it would have been more expensive to give them wings, so they're just snakes.
But also, like, I mean, it's not in keeping with like our image of dragons, but it made sense in like the Korean mythology it was doing, where their serpents trying to become a dragon.
I assumed that was the case.
Yeah, I didn't do any research on that. So
I just watched the fucking film. They explain that.
Well, I guess I missed.
But also, I researched dragons and mythology and shit every fucking week for Pokemon podcasts and Zelda podcasts and Monster Hunter podcasts. So yeah,
that makes sense.
So that's part of it too. So I did.
That's why at the end, one of the dragon snakes becomes a dragon.
Yeah,
did you watch this film?
Yeah, I mean, I was following that. I was tracking that. I'm still just going.
Oh, it's Mark. I'm slagging off.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going on page. Okay, I still don't like snakes. Is my point. I'm just going to keep saying that.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have that.
Do I watch anything really? I don't know.
Mark's been faking it the entire time.
I've really been faking it. I've been phoning it in the whole time. I mean, I usually use at least half of my screen to watch the movie, whatever movie it is.
That's the Mark promise.
Yes. But yeah, man, this is the thing is that the effect, okay, this is sort of a commercial for this.
I've got him shook now.
This is sort of a commercial for this guy's effects studio, and apparently he was a comedian before this. Before he made a remake of what was basically the South Korean Godzilla, which was called Yonggary. You guys look any of this up?
Oh, I saw that his previous film was that. I didn't know it was a monster movie. Now I want to see it.
I watched the trailer. The trailer looks like ass. It looks like a.
Will the trailer look like
PlayStation
ass?
Everyone said that about this one.
No, it really looks like ass.
Oh, like you mean in terms of like effects?
Yes, it looks.
That makes me want to see it more.
Cutscene. But it does look like there's a bunch of dudes in jetpacks who. It looks more futuristic than D-War. So I'm not gonna say I'm not
selling it to me more and more, man.
Yeah, that had a budget of about 13 million, but there is.
What's insane? Godzilla -1 had a budget of about 13 million.
Yeah, it looks,
and that film looks
really
phenomenal.
Good. Yeah. There is.
Talking of movies where marketing changed the name to something really dumb.
Well, in a lot of markets, Yonggary was marketed as a Godzilla movie, but apparently in that movie, everything that Yonggary destroyed, the original, everything he destroys were Japanese landmarks that were built during their occupation of Korea.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah,
even living in Japan, I can be down with that. That makes sense.
That's kind of a lost movie though, because apparently it's like only the American dub exists of it.
Oh, you're talking about the original version, not this.
The original version. I just had one quote from the remake, and where the
We
hell
should
is
do a
it?
double feature of Yongari and the North Korean one.
Oh yeah, that'd be
I want to
Name
awesome.
see
I always forget all the time.
that.
I don't know. There's a quote
Maybe
somewhere,
that'll be
and
my
I'm
birthday pick. Will be that double bill,
hell yeah.
and we'll drag Anna onto it.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a quote that I now cannot find because I'm completely inept in browsing the internet. It was a quote from that movie where a guy just said, "Compared to this guy, Godzilla looks like a pussy."
Nice.
Anyway, but enough about Younger. But that did really well, and that's how he got the money to make this thing, which
Mm.
I don't know how you transition from being a comedian to having your own effects studio,
Well,
but
Beat Takeshi in Japan had that kind of weird. I mean, he wasn't an effects guy, but I mean, in America, people consider him like a serious filmmaker, where he's
yeah.
TV talent that's supposed to make you giggle in Japan.
But yeah, the director, Hyung Rae Shim, um, very controversial. Like I found a bunch of stuff about the release of D War in Korea, and apparently there was stuff like people were getting stalked for like what do you call it, slamming it. Like critics were getting like attacked.
Damn.
One of them had a Japanese wife, like his wife was getting like hate threatened and hate crimed and stuff.
One of them was Luke.
Um, I don't I don't know. It's really weird. And apparently, what version do you guys watch of this?
The one
The
that's on
130.
YouTube.
Okay, I saw an hour and a half one. Apparently, the Korean version at the end it has a quote from the director that says something along the lines of "D War will succeed worldwide, and so will I." And then it plays a patriotic Korean folk song.
Oh, we didn't get that. That's too bad.
I'm gonna read you real quick the biography that was provided to IMDb by his studio. Producer and director Shim is to this day one of the most popular comedians on Korean television. Since embarking in the movie industry, he has been involved in the output of nearly 100 movie productions, whether as screenwriter, developer, director, actor, producer, or executive producer. Though still relatively unknown in the United States, Young Ray Shim has been selected by Asia Week magazine as one of Asia's most influential leaders in computer technology of the 21st century. For the advances he has made in science fiction filmmaking, the government of Korea recognized him as one of the most vital Korean thinkers of our time. So,
Yeah, I mean, based on this film, I agree.
So,
yeah, it's a fascinating. I think he's a fascinating kind of a, um,
dude.
guy. Yeah.
What is it in the what's it in Ranarok? This guy's a man, this guy's a dude.
What was
Oh
that?
yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah. No, that's in
Another
Endgame.
movie.
In
Okay.
Infinity War.
Okay.
Uh,
So do you all want a summary?
yeah.
Yeah, go on, do it.
Too bad I didn't do it. I transcribed Robert Forster's speech, which actually took longer than the summary probably would have taken. So I wasn't
Okay.
lazy.
Hmm.
Imugi is a creature from a Korean legend which turns into a dragon. Long ago, there lived great serpents called Imugis. They lived in the heavens above with their legions of followers. Every 500 years, one Imugi was rewarded for its good deeds with a chance to become a celestial dragon. In order to become a celestial dragon, the Imugi needed to receive from heaven the gift of the Yu Yi Ju. It is the strength, the power of the Yu Yi Ju that allows Namugi to transform into a dragon. Only there was among the great serpents an evil one, Baraki. He coveted Yu Yi Ju. His followers designed to possess it, and this heaven could not allow. It was decided to hide away the Yu Yi Ju on earth. All heaven could do was to send down its best warriors Harem and his master Bochan to protect Yu Yi Ju at all costs from the evil Baraki. Unfortunately, the evil Baraki also knew where to find Yu Yi Ju. Born to the wife of Lord Yun in Korea, Yu Yi Ju would become completely formed when the girl reached the age of 20 years. At that point, any Amugi that possessed it could transform into a dragon. For 20 years, Bochun raised baby girl Naren into a beautiful woman and trained Harem to be a warrior from heaven. And it should be no surprise to anyone that one day Harem fell in love with Naren, and Naren too gradually discovered her love for Harem. The day inevitably came when the evil Baraki summoned all his followers to attack the village and search out for the girl who possessed the Yu Yi Ju. The Atrox soldiers stormed into houses abducting village maidens. Savagely, they searched for the mark of a dragon on their shoulders. On that fateful day, Harem defied the rule of heaven and ran away with Naren. Enraged and desperate, the evil Baraki himself pursued them. In the end, they died as star-crossed lovers, and Baraki, he was denied the power to become an all-powerful dragon. And then all that happens again 500 years later in Vancouver or something.
Yep.
See, when
I'd
I
like
was
to
watching...
apologize to any Korean listeners who had to hear Matt pronounce any of those words.
Yes, I was going to say that beforehand, but then I just jumped into it. So,
Oh God.
so
Well,
yes, pronunciations were questionable. I was just trying to get more intense as I read it, as new names came in. It's like, wait, I haven't even tracked the old names yet, because my brain exploded when he said Atrox. I think watching the movie. It's like, what? No, I don't. Give me another one.
well, it says Artox in IMDb, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It could be wrong. I'm not now.
I
I'm
could-
now.
I
I'm
don't
just.
remember them having a name. It wasn't
I'm not
relevant.
helping. It was
I
just a
could've-
guy who was like.
They were just the
"Roar, roar,
baddies."
roar, roar."
I
It
could
was
have
the guy.
transcribed it wrong at 1 a.m. That's also possible.
For a second, I thought it was M. Bison, but it was the
Oh
guy.
yeah, same.
It was
Oh
the guy
God, I
from.
should have been.
It was the guy from Fight Club who had his like broken neck in the head thing, the head brace thing.
Oh,
Guy
okay.
at the bar. It's like, thank you, sir. Anyway, now he leads an army, so good for him.
This
Except
reminded me a little bit of Piranha 3DD in that they had like several kind of well-known actors on set for 2 days apiece.
Yeah.
To me, this was basically a lot like Return of the King, but with the dialogue from something really funny like The Room in it, but then also with something that was like the best action scenes in Avengers, but better on top of it. Here's the
Yeah.
thing. The action in this is so clear and easy to follow. I don't know what is wrong with American like uh effects studios or whatever the hell it is. The camera just stays in one place so I can tell what's happening. Like, is that too much to ask? Apparently it is. Yeah, I could tell what was happening. So
Michael Bay did it in a sort of handycam style to make the effects more believable. And then every other director just copied him but didn't get it.
I can
And
totally
even
see
Michael
that.
Bay, sometimes you can't quite tell what's going on, but for the most part, he's using it to ground you in the scene.
I definitely knew what was going on in the first Transformers movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
And
not
the
a
second
problem.
Transformers movie has what is, to my mind, the greatest action scene of all time:
Which one was that?
the fight in the woods,
I'm
where it's
ashamed to
Optimus
admit
fighting off like 3 Decepticons.
I fell asleep, but I'm willing to
I
accept
mean,
that that's
I'm
a
not
character
telling you
flaw.
to watch the film, but like, just go
Yeah.
watch that scene on YouTube. It's sick.
I should watch it now because it's something about like it was in IMAX 3D, and I think something about it made my brain just turn off.
Yeah.
At some point, because
I've already talked about my viewing of that film enough times. I guess I won't do it again.
At some point, Shia LaBeouf was dead, and then he was alive again, and I have no idea what happened.
Magic and wizards,
he earned
robot
the
wizards
Matrix
happen.
of leadership.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Matrix of sounds like some Matrix of leadership type thing.
Good for him.
So, yeah, going back to how it's Valentine's Day today, this is like this movie's a perfect metaphor for Valentine's Day because these people have really no chemistry, but they talk about being in love, so they are. And then, but what's really happening is it's just a bunch of snakes just smashing into stuff.
So you don't agree with my student yesterday who asked me the question, what do you think about Valentine's Day? And I don't remember what I said, but how about you?
It's this.
Said, I like Valentine's Day because everyone loves Valentine's Day. I was like, what about people who just broke up with someone?
That sounds like the patriotic Korean message at the end of the film.
So
I like Valentine's Day because I get bought chocolates.
Oh yeah, what Japanese you
Day
guys
nice
get chocolates? That's nice.
Yeah, I got to buy them in a month.
Yeah, but it's fine. I don't have to buy them for someone that it turns out they didn't buy me anything.
Right.
I just get to, in a month's time, I know who I need to give chocolates to.
I got these orange cocoa dusted truffles.
Nice.
And I got an Animal Crossing chocolates and mug and hot chocolate set.
Liquor
Nice.
chocolate.
Hell yeah, you guys are beloved. Congratulations. That is great.
Look at these; they're adorable.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
those are good.
those are great. Yeah. I just want someone to get me a 4K copy of Dragon Wars D War, which does not exist.
Steelbook.
Does not. I'll take the Steelbook. I can't find the Steelbook. I couldn't find a 4K. They're just not making 4K of anything anymore, I don't think. Anyway, so
they don't want you to see how shit their effects are, so they don't make 4Ks of the new Marvel movies.
Yeah.
They want you to watch it 256p on TikTok, so you think it looks good.
Yeah, like it'll take us a few years to upscale these, where like they're just running it through a computer to make it 4K, but it's not really. That's what AI is for, upscaling Marvel films. Anyway, speaking of
upscaling the movie AI.
Speaking of upscale Marvel films, man, yeah, this movie goes so hard in the opening where they're basically firing missiles into I was
gonna say, what this movie does that I love, right from the very off, is it's absolutely no attempt to be like ironic or well that just happened. It's literally scene one. Here are some fucking ancient Korean myths about dragons. That shit's gonna happen in this film.
Yeah,
there's no like, oh, is it real? It's like, I mean, obviously there are characters who don't believe it, but like the main characters and we as the audience are just instantly like, yeah, buy into this. There's dragons. Let's go.
Mean, if there's any complaint I would make is that some people believe this really, like some people immediately believe it with no reason to know what they're talking about, but that's fine. I don't care.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I love that Robert Forster could just turn into whoever he wants and just destroy dudes with kung fu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is savage. There's no I don't ever feel like this movie is trying to make me feel like somebody got out of the thing alive.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were not 18 crashes. These were helicopters exploding and everyone dying.
the thing where two snakes grabbed the helicopter and slammed it into the ground, I just was like screaming at my TV because it was so awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to just sit here and gush about things, but
okay.
Also, I always a lot of Transformers fans complain when in the movies the US military is like perfectly capable of killing Transformers. Because like your comic books and stuff, they're indestructible.
Yeah.
I love that in this film the military shows up and just gets wrecked by the dragons.
Yeah, there were a couple.
They take out a couple of them, but they're pretty conclusively getting beaten in this.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a couple of things in the IMDb goofs where like, actually, the U.S. military would send more military if this happened. I'm like, I don't
think they can that quickly get that much military onto like American streets.
Well, I considered trying to add a section to this podcast about IMDb goofs, and none of them were fun enough.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm already annoyed at how much this podcast pulls from IMDb because we have to pretend films like this are on the bad list.
Yeah, I mean, I already am mad at everyone who rated this low. I considered going and writing my own 10-star review of this film.
Are you going to read that one at the end of the podcast?
That'd be really funny if it'd be like, hey, if you're reading this, I put this in here just for you to read, Matt.
Do they go up instantly, or is there like a approval?
I think there's a vetting process.
Because I was going to say, if not, me and Mark should both write one and see if Matt can find ours.
I guess since it is on the bad list, though, I guess I'll unleash my snark on it.
Oh, sure.
That said, I quite enjoyed watching this, so don't get me wrong. I mentioned like Craig Robinson has like almost no purpose to be here because he's supposed to be snarky, but he isn't because this movie is very non-ironic, as you said. So it's kind of like, what is he doing in two scenes of this movie? Robert Forster is kind of like, wait, it's like they promised him a sandwich after he does that speech, that's kind of the vibe I get from him. So, like wrote flaws in the movie. Acting direction is like the worst. You already mentioned The Room. I mean, I guess in terms of dialogue, but yeah, that was obviously. I mean, you're watching a monster movie.
I guess
right?
Also we have to bear in mind this was being directed primarily for an audience who are going to be reading subtitles.
Right, and very possibly directions were being given through translators, you know,
Yeah, it was being
most likely.
directed by a Korean director who we don't know his. I mean, the English in Korea is better than in Japan, at least in 2023 it was. So there's a chance that maybe he was able to like talk directly with them. But yeah, it wasn't the whether the dialogue really snapped. I guess they didn't care much because their target audience was going to be reading it in subtitles.
And that's the other thing with the target audience. If you're a South Korean or smuggling this into North Korea, you know these stories, so it's like
Mm.
an easy start. Whereas,
And also hearing all of those words, I guess, was not like you're not learning new words when they say that stuff, maybe necessarily.
yeah, that's why I read the Forrester speech, because as he was saying it, I was like, my brain is exploding, you know. And then we get dragons after that, whatever. And then you know
I
the
mean,
Korean stuff like in between the lines, which I
I
did
read
not put.
I read Dune when I was 11. I can learn 3 new proper nouns in a movie, but
Yeah. But I could see you see this in America, and then you come out saying, "Wow, that world building was convoluted and pointless." You
yeah.
know, whereas if you're a Korean, maybe it's baked in a little more. Again, I
Hmm.
don't. I assume it is. I don't know it is because I don't know
Well,
that lore.
even if like the specific names and stuff are not, the idea of like celestial dragons and like things ascending to become a dragon is very common in Asian myth.
Right. Anyway, I follow that with the cool things in this movie, which would be the dragons, the fire blast, etc. You're
Kung fu.
hospitalized again, or whatever he said. Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't
There's
get
some
much
kung
kung fu in
fu.
the modern day, which was a shame. I wish they'd hired a Keanu Reeves alike who could do some kung fu instead of just a journalist who runs around being a pretty boy and doesn't really do anything.
I definitely got some vibes also. Two things. One is the the Common Rider it's playing on the TVs at work. It felt
Hmm.
like every episode of Common Rider is like someone gets kidnapped and then they crucify them, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it had those vibes. Um, I think they tie them to the cross. They don't nail them because it's not, yeah.
Hmm.
But they'd
Yeah.
like to crucify people in Common Rider.
Well, that's a running thing. It comes from Ultraman, where it was being done as like a Catholic metaphor. But since then, everything up to and including Evangelion has referenced that without fully understanding the Christian imagery. So
I
now loads of Japanese TV children's shows involve people being crucified, but the directors don't necessarily understand what the imagery implies.
But then I love because the Common Rider villain guy like gets hit by a car, and it's the same station wagon from Mac and me a few weeks ago.
What I loved about that scene was they hit him with a car, then they try to fight him. It doesn't work, so they just hit him with another car.
But they hit him with the second
yes.
car like lighter than the first one. I think the
Yeah,
second one
yeah,
should
yeah.
have been like a bigger hit, you know?
Hmm.
So
I don't
there,
know.
there's a flaw. Also, I felt like this is not a complaint or a praise, actually. It's just an observation that do you think they were like trying to like kind of make some scenes feel like the original Terminator, but with the Terminator 2 gloss? Does that make any sense what I'm saying?
I sort of
Eh,
get what you mean. There was literally
maybe.
like a "Come with me, Sarah, if you want to live." So
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And their name's Sarah too. And
Yeah, they
then
had to
but then
find
it
them.
has but I guess that's actually a compliment for this movie that the production value felt more like T2 in these scenes. So it was like this
mhm.
weird mix up of 1 and 2 being done in translated direction.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
definitely got some slight Terminator vibes in that stuff.
I
You're not
mean,
alone there.
if you have the same budget as Terminator 2, the least you could do is make it look sort of like more like Terminator 2 and Terminator 1. Um, but what the hell was I gonna say?
Does
Damn it, I
anybody remember
ruined
what
it.
Terminator 2 budget was? Terminator
I think it
2
was
No.
90.
90. Okay, because it was like
I mean, at the
hella
time.
expensive at the time, but yeah, now it's like whatever. If you don't spend 100 million on your movie, what are you doing, you plebe?
Yeah, 300 million if you got Harrison Ford in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 90, it says about 95 to 100 million ish, which
That's
at the
disturbing
time,
that that's like a nice
yeah,
economical film now.
at the time it was the most expensive film, and I remember it coming out just being like, whoa, could it possibly, how could anything cost that much? But
Yeah, yeah, Luke, not to brag, but you didn't get the opening night in the theater experience on that one. You have to time travel for that.
No, I have seen it in a theater since, but man, I wish.
I mean,
But
technically
alas, I
I
was
shouldn't.
too.
I was 12, I was 12 and I technically should not have been but I did.
Every kid went to see it.
Yeah,
It was the first R-rated, not the first. Actually, the 80s had lots of R-rated children's movies.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, like
absolutely
they
an
all
art
had like an
film.
action figure range, right? Rambo, RoboCop, Terminator 2.
Aliens.
They knew.
And I would argue that Terminator 2 is less disturbing than, say, Poltergeist or Gremlins. I mean, you might
Yeah, I
that's
disagree.
mean,
why.
apart from the existential horror of nuclear war,
Yeah,
which
okay,
definitely
that
fucked me
was
up a little bit as a kid.
that did scare me, but also,
But
I
that's a
mean, it
good thing
was
to be scared of. We should scare our
yeah.
children of that as young as possible.
Well, I was already scared of it because I grew up in the 80s. So it was just
There's that, yeah.
we all thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah,
Like,
me and Matt were watching like some Duck and Cover and stuff like that, and it's like I find that so fascinating because for me and my generation, it's hard to imagine like existing with that knowledge. I guess we have the equivalent now of like we're all pretty convinced the world's going to end from climate change pretty soon.
yeah, or
But that's more
AI.
of like we're going to watch a slow decline. That's not like
Yeah.
we might
Like
just
you're
wake up
holding a
tomorrow and the
fence
world's
and turning
gone.
into ashes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is that because humans are so bad at predicting things or like imagining the world changing. A lot of people probably do think that climate change will just be like all of a sudden there are a million tornadoes at once.
Yeah,
Like
they think it's going to be like the day after tomorrow.
yeah, and that might be the only thing that makes people do anything about it. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. The thing I forgot that I was going to say is that I kind of liked Ethan because he looked like a video game protagonist and also acted like one.
Yes.
He was he was like weirdly well put together in a way. I don't know how else to say it. Um, he was like the Deadly Premonition protagonist or something.
Oh man, I love the Deadly Premonition protagonist. I wish he was driving around having weird conversations with his imaginary friend the whole time.
Yeah, what's his
Making
imaginary friend's
sandwiches
name?
out of like cereal and
Yeah,
chicken.
oh,
Jake.
Jake. A friend of mine is making me play it. It's sort of like we're not streaming it or anything, but it's like a running gag where I
Yeah.
go to his house and he just makes me play it while he works from home. And the last time I was over there, it was like suddenly there were flies buzzing around me because I hadn't changed my suit.
Yeah, you have to go if you don't shower, you start stinking.
I was just
But
like, what's happening?
Deadly Premonition's so good. I can't remember if I'm allowed to play the second one yet or not. Because it released with like some very poorly handled trans stuff. And then the developer said they would fix it, but like I think made it slightly worse.
Oh God, yeah, that
But
sounds like
it's
one of those
like
guys,
it's like
auteur
someone
guys.
trying to have they were trying to be sensitive, but just ended up being kind of shitty.
That sounds plausible. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
if that happened with the Bayonetta guy, you'd be like, well, then don't play my games or something
Yeah.
like that. I quit this company. I'm on Twitter now.
I
Whatever.
didn't play the games.
Well, then then no, you have no problem with Bayonetta if you haven't played the games.
That's right. I have no problem with either of the games you just mentioned.
I'd love to see you try to play Deadly Premonition as like a not frequent gamer. It's just a mess, but it's very charming. And my friend
Matt would love watching someone play Deadly Premonition, I'm sure.
makes sense. Well, my friend Theo, shout out to Theo, got me a copy of Deadly Premonition 2, and I was like, I don't want to play this. I'm not gonna play this till I finish the first one, dude. Got to finish the first one first. But anyway, sooner or later, I'll probably finish that before I finish Alan Wake 2 at this rate.
Alan! Alan Wake!
Goddamn
While I
callbacks.
was, let's see, what else do I have on the slight snarkometer? Oh, well, one, the music, it was like they ripped off the theme from The Shining, but then used like Godzilla orchestration.
Yeah, sick.
Did anyone notice? That's The
I
Shining
didn't.
music.
I didn't think about it.
I don't remember noticing any music. Oh yeah, now that you're doing that, yeah, I did.
But then the orchestration was like the old school Godzilla theme.
Mm-hmm.
There was something in IMDb about it being like the dearest eerie. What is that? The sort of funeral tone.
Day of Judgment or whatever.
Dies Irae. Yeah, so that might be just
that
come from the same place.
That's it. Okay. Which yeah. That's one of those classical pieces that everyone's allowed to go do their own version of. So I guess
Yeah,
we'll let the guy off the hook a little bit for that.
like Mars, the bringer of war.
Yeah, I guess it's just so associated with The Shining now, so or that version of it or
I
whatever.
think, yeah, because the orchestration was so different, I didn't really make a Shining association. It just
I've just
sounded like
I've just seen The Shining a lot, so
action movie music to me.
yeah,
I've seen The Shining about 5 times, which is a lot for me.
I've seen it more than 5 times.
I've seen it twice, once on a disc and once in a theater.
Can I count the Ready Player One as one of the times that I watched it?
No.
No,
Okay, 5
That
times.
actually, please remove one from your
It
list.
removes one. Okay,
You've seen
yeah,
it
you
four
before.
then.
you got 4 times now.
Oh man.
Let's
So
see.
anyway,
While I was watching this movie, I like had the thought, have I ever been up in a helicopter before? Or have
I
I just
haven't.
seen too many movies? I think as a
I've never
small
been up in a helicopter, I don't think.
I
Me
think
neither.
as a kid I once went up in a helicopter, but I could be confusing that with a movie.
You can
I
get hella.
watched Princess Anne crash a helicopter into a tree.
Jesus.
Because in the
Only like a
80s,
little bit.
Okay.
I think in the 80s, you could go down to PDK Airport and spend 20
You,
bucks and they'd let you go up in something dangerous for a bit.
you can take helicopter tours now. They're more like 120, maybe more than that, but they're approachable. I am scared of being in a helicopter.
I think I've been in
It's
a
because every
helicopter.
single helicopter in every film ever crashes.
Well,
Oh, here's
and
my note
not only that,
here.
but when do you hear about celebrities being in helicopters? When they die in the crash. That's like the only time you. I mean, I'm sure they're in them all the time, but it's like,
When do you
yeah,
hear about celebrities being in planes when they do terrible environmental damage?
yeah, just when they take, yeah, it's like Taylor Swift is clearly the only person with a jet.
Yes, that was the other question that came up a day or two where it was like what with a student like what would you do if you had like a lot of money and I said whatever I said I probably said I'd buy nice guitars. What would you do? He goes, I'd buy an airplane. So I just said don't buy a Cessna.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do you want big one, small one? Small one. Don't buy a Cessna because they crash every other week, right?
I mean, Harrison Ford has crashed one, I think, at least twice and still
That's his
alive.
hobby. And he got stoned before he flew it, probably.
um,
I hope he was yelling, "Get off my plane" at himself.
Nigel Farage crashed one, and there's a great picture of him like walking out all bloodied. And I wish I lived in the world where that plane crash killed him.
Oh
When
man.
when the helicopter goes into the building,
Mm.
I started laughing a little bit. So my note is it seemed like a funny crash. Then the copter exploded and probably killed several dozen people.
It was
Well,
incredible.
that scene confused me a little bit because the two extras who avoid the crash look a lot like the two leads. I was like, why are they in this building all of a sudden? I think it just
No, I
happened
think
to be
they're
a
dead.
different man in a
Yeah.
brown jacket and a woman in a white shirt.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Continuity was a little off.
but that to me that was one of the perfect examples of why the action of this movie is good because you see the dragon grab his helicopter. He pulls a pistol out and is shooting it with a pistol, and then it flings
Yeah.
him into a building, exploding. That was just awesome. I don't know.
Incredible stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like dragons and snakes both flinging things made me very happy. Like there's definitely at
Mhm.
one point a car gets just flung straight into the ground. One of them
I
flings
did
the
think
car.
the like big walking dragons were very like Gungan army from Phantom Menace,
Yep.
as well as the little dinosaurs the soldiers were riding on as well.
I kind of loved those little dinosaurs. I was just like, oh, it's those little guys are back.
Yeah, I like the pterodactyl ones best because they don't look like the Phantom Menace ones are kind of lumbering, and then the snake
Mm.
ones I've already said that several times, so that made me like the more bird-like ones the best.
But it's like, how do you keep people invested in stuff like this? Give me a few different things to focus on so I don't just feel like, oh, it's just mindless, these
Yeah.
aliens on gliders flying around New York in a circle while Scarlett Johansson shoots arrows at them. You know,
Hmm.
like just
Well, also because we didn't have just like 5 invincible superheroes plowing through them like paper, they seemed threatening.
yeah. And none of those superheroes ever seemed to take any kind of risk. They all just sort of stood in a circle or
Hmm.
or jumped on them if they were the Hulk because he's always angry. See, I don't want to pick on that movie too much because a lot of that movie
I loved
I
it at
think
the time,
is
right?
very good. A lot of it is good. I just don't like the climax of it. And
Yeah.
like,
I don't like the climax, especially because that same climax happened 1 year prior, 10 times better in Transformers 3.
Fair enough. And also, there are little things in that in Joss Whedon's writing that when people point them out, it ruins things. Like,
But that it's like I
No,
liked
don't
that
do it. I
stuff
still
when
like the
that
movie.
film came out, but like now, because every single film is just that dialogue,
yeah.
I can't stand it anymore.
Well, it's just the point. I'm gonna ruin one thing, Matt. I'm sorry. It's just when
Okay.
Thor shows up and they say like put the hammer down, and he says, "I'll put the hammer down," and he just like hammers him. Like, how does he know that he's not
He
just
doesn't know that
murdering
Cap's
someone?
shield is indestructible. He would have killed him, yeah.
Yeah, he's
But
basically
then
like
he's also
someone.
like he's a Viking. Maybe he just didn't give a shit if he killed Cap.
He's a god.
I wish that he
Yeah.
just
He-
kept being like that then, because like
That guy's an
nothing ever. He never at any point was just like, "What do you talk to me? I'll fucking kill you." It's like what? Like, where's that guy?
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's like
Although
Francis from
right
Stripes.
before that, I really like the line where he's like, Cap, you can't go out there. They're basically guards. There's only one guard, ma'am. I don't think he dresses like that.
yeah,
That was like the one of the 2 times they remembered that Captain America was from the 40s.
there is there is good stuff in there. That whatever the
Yeah.
Galaga reference. I like Galaga.
But anyway, in short, Dragon Wars D Wars is a better film.
Agreed.
No, I liked watching it. No, I don't know. I
You
might
don't
not
have
agree.
to agree with us.
No, I don't have to agree. I'm not going to agree. I'm just like, no, I just had I
Pussy.
watched several. Pussy. No, I just rewatched several and just liked them more than I thought I remembered liking them, which was kind of nice to go back and be like, yeah, well, except there are flaws. Like you said, there are flaws. You know, I was noting more like production things in those older movies, but yeah.
Oh,
See, I like the production in those older movies where there were actual costumes and sets.
Oh, I like that. I'm talking about the fact like the sky is always white in Marvel movies.
Yeah.
That kind, and there's no true blacks, that kind of thing. And the image. This one, I thought the effects. This is one where it was very clear, like maybe some of it should have been more at nighttime because everything looked great in the dark stuff.
I think for me, what I noticed was the main serpent. Sorry, Matt, looked amazing. And they clearly did not spend as much on the models for all the other dragons. So, like, whenever that main serpent was on screen, it looked real. And then some of the other dragons did just look like PlayStation enemies whenever they got close up. But when they were moving around quickly and fucking up helicopters, it was fine.
Also, I got in my head, especially during the conference scene, because that felt like a Shin Godzilla scene. You know, maybe done poorly, but I was like, oh, maybe the dragon, and then it's slithering through the street. I'm like, oh, maybe this is like proto Shin Godzilla. And it's going to evolve, but it didn't, and it was always a snake.
Yeah,
but that's my personal issue, I guess.
It needed the Yamiju to evolve.
Sarah had to die.
Yeah, it was a pretty ending end. I wrote Puff the Magic Dragon ... ate Sarah's soul.
And then shed a tear. A tear of the Republic. Eh?
Like,
a tear of the Mark, eh?
I laughed a lot when the dragon cried. I'm sorry. Or
well, in this case, yes. In the other case, we're referencing no.
I was kind of hoping for a scene where Ethan was just crying and just shooting Sarah with a gun or something like that, but this movie wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the you're here for the dragons, not for the writing, but yeah, in that climax when she's like, I have to do it, it's the only way. I'm like, what's the only way? No, did they ever explain that?
Yeah, repeatedly, multiple exposition scenes.
Oh, okay, that's, I guess maybe I tuned out on those.
Did you two just didn't watch this film? I think
I may not have watched it. It's possible. That's why I need to buy it on Amazon so I can watch it again, and also make my friends watch it. That's right. If you're listening to this, I might make you watch this.
Maybe watch this.
My brain didn't grasp a lot of the.
It's fine. During a lot of the other films, it's the other way around because we're watching some boring ass movie about druggies or whatever. I'm not paying attention to the dialogue.
What's the thing?
Also,
I'd rather.
There were definitely things in Requiem for a Dream where you were saying it. And I was like, oh, did that happen? I didn't fucking know.
Well, I'd much rather.
I was looking at Donkey Kong in that bit.
I mean, I've watched movies where I I pay a lot of attention to the dialogue, and my brain goes to sleep during the action scenes. A lot of Marvel movies, to pick on them again, and I would much rather my brain wake up for the cool action scenes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I will
I'm with you.
absolutely say that's a you know, and there weren't a lot of like non-dragon scenes. I mean,
No.
pound for
Yeah,
pound.
yeah, yeah. It
No,
peppered the
that's why
dragons in pretty
like
well.
at
But
that
that's it.
point.
We got to like the dragon started attacking, and I was like, "Oh wow, are we at the climax already?" And I sort of wiggled my cursor. And I was like, "Oh shit, we're halfway through the film."
Yeah, that village scene was pretty early. I mean, the and
I mean,
that alone.
when they started
Yeah,
attacking
yeah,
America is what I was talking
exactly.
about.
But I mean, that's
But
the
yeah,
thing
yeah,
is that
they give you the village scene to keep you going as well.
well, when that happened, I was like, oh, this is going to be great because if they're doing this shit like 20 minutes in, either it's going to be a lot of great stuff like this, or this is the only good part of the movie. And
Well, it's like
thankfully.
it's like Godzilla Final Wars, where I was like, "Oh wow, they finally figured out you have monster scenes, but then in the human scenes they're also fighting, so they're just never not fighting." That's how you make a film.
Mark,
Hell
did you get
yeah.
any subtitles on this?
Yeah, tons of them. I got
Okay.
subtitles
Oh yeah,
for
we didn't on YouTube, so the Korean scene just didn't have any subtitle, and
That, that
somehow I still understood the plot better than you.
that's kind of what I was getting at. Because I was like, well, I didn't get a lot of subtitles, so maybe I can take that that out, but Mark can't.
Did you guys get the subtitles when the guy was commanding the army and speaking
No,
like
there were
weird
Nope.
zero
garbled?
subtitles.
No, we got no
Was
subtitles in any Korean scenes.
his mouth was
Or
speaking
monster
English?
scenes.
What they did was they had the guy say the lines, but then just replaced his voice with some weird backwards. It
Oh,
wasn't
weird.
Korean, I don't think. And nothing I found said it was Korean. I think it was just like backwards
Yeah, I thought it was
words.
the monster language, but again, I don't know
Yeah.
Korean, as you can go back from listening to me read the Forrester speech.
I mean, all of it was stuff like "we must attack." You know, it's not.
Yeah, I
It
mean, I got the
wasn't no
gist.
surprising.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
Yeah,
a problem.
no, it's
no
very quick.
surprises.
Like, okay, they're doing kung fu. I don't really need to know what they're saying. Well, probably not kung fu, but they're
But
doing martial arts.
one
I
of
think
my
Taekwondo is Korean.
But I mean, there might be
There's
like,
also a Korean karate as well.
yeah, because there's several things. So I was just like, sorry, I for me it's a pet peeve when you just throw kung fu on everything, but I do it. So
I know.
it's a personal pet
Martial
peeve.
arts is the safe word to use.
Yes.
one of that's very good. One of my favorite scenes of dialogue is the one where they have the zookeeper restrained in a straitjacket,
Yeah,
and
that was actually a legit good gag.
the lady's dialogue is all weirdly wrong. Like, I don't know what happened in that scene. Like, maybe they had some second unit director who really didn't speak English. Right.
That was kind of my favorite scene of the movie, to be honest.
Here's
She's
the
like,
line.
"Look, just say the snake's not real, and I can let you go." And he's like, "Okay, it's not real." She's like, "There we go, fine." And then he's like, "Oh, I hate to say this."
You're hospitalized again.
And then she turns around. No,
Tie him
She
back
says
up.
it weirder than that, though.
I took
Yeah, she
down
says,
the
"Tie
line.
him back up."
She says, tie him again. He has to be hospitalized. But
Okay.
before that, she says, Mr. Belafonte, I like Discover Channel too. Never have
Oh
I
yeah,
seen
she doesn't say Discovery Channel. She says
Discover Channel. Never have I seen a snake such as what you're describing. I don't know. It was just that's great, man.
Maybe maybe it's like the main actors felt they could fix their dialogue a little bit, because she was like a low paid day actor. She read it as given.
That makes a lot of sense. And then I got right after that, the evil guy says, "Do not be a hero this time."
Hey, Mark, just as some preamble today, since all of us at least like this film, I'm actually going to go ahead and find a 1-star review. So you're going to find the 10 stars. Is that cool?
Okay, I'm gonna try to find one that is not a Korean person that didn't do a super good job with English, because there are
I'm just
a
saying,
few of
like,
those.
because films, Filth. Yeah, it's a film.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a foreign
Well,
film. It's.
Oh no, this is what films should be.
I wonder
This
how
is-
this ranks against Reign of Fire. I haven't seen Reign of Fire.
Reign of Fire doesn't actually deliver. It's more of a post-apocalyptic movie. It's
Okay.
probably a better film,
Yeah,
but it doesn't have anywhere near as much dragon carnage.
I have seen some of Dungeons and Dragons, which is coming up, and that is also pretty enjoyable from what I've seen, and not Korean.
I assume we're going to do a special episode on the new good Dungeons and Dragons film around the same time.
That
You
or double
can.
them up, yeah.
That
Because people are
movie.
more likely to fucking click on that.
No,
Yeah.
that movie is great. Actually,
Yeah, me and
that
Mercy
is.
finally got around to watching it a couple weeks back. It's really good.
I don't even play Dungeons and Dragons. I get a few of the references, but still, that's better. That is what the best Marvel movie, basically, and it's not a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
But yes, is there anything? I mean, there's nothing filthy here except for, the dragons killed some, well, and explosions killed people. What killed more people, the dragons or the explosions?
Explosions, I
But that's
think.
like, I didn't kill him. The bullet from my gun killed him.
Maybe a dragon should have gone on TV and said, "Dragons don't kill people, explosions do."
That's like the I'm just gonna swing my fists and walk forwards, and if you get in my way, that's your fault. Which unfortunately I don't think is a legal defense that works.
Man, I might have to read just a few small ones.
You could do that.
This is a great movie. This is much better than Star Wars 8 Last Jedi. It has better plot, better CG, better acting than Last Jedi. Director Sim is much more talented than Lion Johnson.
I really
0.
like Last Jedi, but I probably do agree that I like this better.
That's definitely like a Korean person who's just making a point. Kim is in the name. Anyway, here's another one. Oh, whoop, whoop, whoop. My scrolling's going all weird.
Well, here's a one that this one says they are Korean. Beware. I am a Korean and I almost can't speak in English, so I'm going to comment on this motion picture in quotations as simply as I can. It sucks. It ain't another average dumb movie. It's a total disaster and does harm people. When I watched in the theater, my friend almost got choked to death because she literally had been laughing for more than an hour constantly. Plot holes, horrible acting, unimpressive CGI, and stop it. This shit is just a mess and doesn't even deserve a serious review. If you want to kill someone by a deadly laughing or break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, I strongly recommend watching it with him or her.
Nice.
And
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
there was just this one's just a title. I won't read the whole thing. It's worse than a waste of time. It harms your ability to live a happy life.
All right. I finally saw this movie. Haha, I gave it 10. I saw it in Man Chinese Theater, Hollywood, THX. It took me a while to get what this movie was all about, but I finally got what it was all about at the end of the movie. I have experienced seeing the director's previous movie before, and I didn't like it then. But with this movie, I finally began to appreciate the director's work. This is in all caps. I was so impressed and really cried after this movie. 2
With
of 10
dragon
from this film.
tears? Tears of a
Maybe.
dragon?
Tears of Best thing to happen to film since Eyes. A while ago at my mom's bridge game, I was asked what it was like. This is shit posting. I was asked what it was like when I first fell in love. I was confused that anyone could put into words the wonderful feeling of falling in love. Being wrapped in something like that, where every bad feeling is now good and every doubt is turned into unshaken certainty. Every rose smells sweeter and every sour blow pop tickles you just the right way. That is how I felt walking out of D-Ward. The beauty and everything shined forth, and I could see it. The past 16 years, I was blind, but now, thanks to Shim Hyung Raik cinematic masterpiece, I see the world through new eyes. I wish to share that feeling with everyone in the world. This film is a film that everyone who is physically or mentally able in any way should watch. I hope that all of you get to see this film, and I believe the very moment the last blind person has his eyes cleansed, the world will be happy and at peace with the cosmos.
Luke, did you write that?
1 out of 5 people found this helpful.
No, I didn't have time to write a review. Also, I don't like IMDb reviews.
I don't know, you just said you're gonna seed one.
Would you shitpost like that, Luke, on IMDb?
I think that was slightly ableist, so maybe no.
Oh. Sorry.
Fine.
Anyway, I sort
You
of
didn't write it, Mark. It's okay.
I was
apologize for what you read.
I am sorry. Let me read
You're
another
welcome.
one to make up for it. Good job by Brian K. Chambers. In all sincerity, the director did an excellent job with this film. My children loved it, and so did I. God bless and take care. And that's repeated 4 times.
Oh, okay. Well, at least he wants you to really get the message, I guess. I'm glad you didn't repeat it 4 times.
Shit posters love this movie, apparently.
That makes sense. I liked
Yep.
the YouTube comments because they were all just like, "Oh, I loved this as a kid. I'm so happy to see it again," and stuff like that.
I mean,
So yeah, there's
if
a
I saw
generation who
this,
dug this.
yeah, if I'd seen this when I was whatever 10, I would have loved it then too. This is
Mhm.
just timeless for all ages.
Yeah, I really wish I had like ponied up the £1 or whatever to buy on DVD and watched it, because turns out it's a banger. I probably would have if we would be sat here right now and I'd be like, yeah, I've seen this film 20 times.
I
Yeah,
think it's mostly the title. I mean, if you see this on the shelf, you just
Well,
instantly assume it's
yeah, it really looked
a
in
mockbuster.
yeah, it looked like it belonged right next to those mockbusters. And to be honest, I did buy quite a few of those. I've watched Transmorphers.
what's that like?
Awful. It's way more like a Terminator film than a Transformers film.
Uh, yeah,
But
I've stayed far away from those. I have kind of a problem with the intentionally trying to make a bad movie, ironically thing. I don't care for it.
A lot of them are not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just bad movies.
Okay.
because they were given an
It's only
opportunity,
it's
10
post
bucks, make a movie.
Sharknado. Post Sharknado, they start being more like that.
Yeah, I thought that's what you're referring to as post Sharknado, but
But no,
um,
a lot of the earlier mockbusters are pre Sharknado,
Maybe
huh,
the
okay.
and
all,
it is just, you know,
I guess the thing, 2007 is also prime time for those mockbusters, right? Because that's when people are
yeah.
just going out, grandma's buying the DVD thinking it is
Well, I remember
Transformers.
when Spielberg's 2005 War of the Worlds came out, there was like 3 separate mockbuster War of the Worlds because the book didn't have a copyright.
All right. I
So
fell asleep during that.
There was one set in the modern day. There was one set like in the actual time of the book. There was the Spielberg one, and there was an animated one. All came out that same year.
Anyway,
Man.
the D War
Well,
is enough that you definitely should not.
The
It needs
War?
to be
sure.
separated from the mockbusters, even though it looks like one.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a monumental achievement to make a movie that's basically what 10 times more almost 10 times more expensive than any film that's ever been made in your entire country. I mean, just the whatever the human effort is it's won several awards. It won Grand Bell Award for Best Visual Effects, 3 Blue Dragon Awards. I don't know what that is. And Best Visual Effects at Asian Film Awards. These
I
are
mean,
all technical.
you can make up your own award and give it to yourself. I know a lot of Japanese products like to do that.
You think it's like director Shim just made a couple of award shows, just gave us
Yeah.
awards.
Yes.
He probably would
I
have given himself Best Picture if he did
hmm.
that.
Any final, well, I got a final thought. What would you name this movie, since the name is a marketing disaster? I also feel like D War is not the best title. I mean, what would
Yeah,
be
no.
a good the biggest flaw in this movie is really just the title, I think.
I would
Dragon
name
Wars is too bland, D War is too obscure and stupid sounding. Put together, it sounds insane.
I would name it Imugi Time.
Okay, that's good. Although that sounds like some kind of like fetish porno.
Just call it
I would name it
My Imugi.
City Dragon.
Who?
City Dragon.
That's
Mm.
good. That's good.
Snakes are a plane.
Fling, wash the snake, fling this car.
Sure, why not? That's like kind of, yeah, again, that's like the Japanese title. They have to explain to you what's going to happen in the movie in the title.
Well, I'll say this much: at least there basically is a war in this, which I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of films like this would say war and not bring you a war.
War of the Flying Serpents. There you
Is
go.
War
That's
of the
good.
Worlds even a war? It's more just like a massacre.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, like
I
guerrilla
think they
war.
literally say that multiple times. Like, this isn't a war; it's a massacre. But that was a pastiche of the British saying they were fighting wars in Africa when it was just massacres.
Makes sense.
Massacre of the Worlds. That doesn't roll off the tongue as well, does it?
Yeah, it kind of does, though.
Didn't roll
Monster
off
Energy
Bruce's
just
tongue.
came out my nose.
Moogie time.
Oh wow!
All right.
Oh my god! I'm energized. I just accidentally snorted Monster.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm on
Well,
fire.
Woo!
is it a film
Yeah!
or a filth?
I'm gonna go start a Dragon War. It's a film, baby.
Yeah. I agree. It's film.
Yeah, didn't we all agree on that already?
Well, I just figured that since this is a podcast where we do that at the end of every podcast, that I would just suggest that we do it.
You listen to Films and Filth, baby. It's a Podcastio Podcastias production. Head on over to Patreon/Podcastio Podcastias. Give $1 a month. Hear episodes early. Check out our other shows. You got Luke Loves Pokemon. We talk about fucking dragons all the time in that. We got Hyrule Field Report. You want to hear a dragon cry? Spoilers. That's coming up. We got Game Show. It's a game show about games. We chat all kinds of shit. We actually did a Valentine's Day special like 3 hours ago on that. We got Time Enough Podcast. It's about the Twilight Zone. That doesn't have effects anywhere near as good as this. It's shit. We got Space 1999.
Well, Space 1999, there is a dragon episode coming up.
No, it said there was a dragon, and then there was a space death octopus instead.
I was getting
That's pretty sick, though.
That was pretty sick. It's just like, well, that show is just notorious because the titles are all wrong.
We got a cult Disney. Maleficent turns into a dragon. She was a boss in Kingdom Hearts.
Lots of dragons. We did Black Cauldron. That gave kids nightmares.
Yeah, and you can find this podcast on Twitter at Films and Filth.
Something like that.
Simple. Yeah, follow us. Tell your friends. Get involved. Let's go.
Luke's so charged. He did the promo. Wow.
Yeah, like, man, I'm going to start snorting Monster more often.
You kind of inspired me to do it. I mean, I have an espresso machine. I have 2 espresso machines. I can just start snorting that.
Kids, don't snort Monster.
Yeah, do it. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to fucking lift the whole gym.
I'm neutral, but you could pour it into your butt.
I'm going to be like Superman Returns, where it's just 2 hours of a man lifting progressively heavier objects.
I've never had Monster.
What? Dude, you need to go snort some right now.
Snort it off a hooker's stomach.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good for that. Clickety
Right.
click. Let's stop. I'm gonna hit the recording stop. Bye, y'all.
Oh,
right.
Mercy's going to be so mad when she hears that bit where I snort Monster. She's annoyed that I drink energy drinks if she finds out that I'm into snorting it now. I'm fully expecting a text.
I'm like,
she's not like
go
legit
try it.
mad, but she is always like, oh, you shouldn't drink that stuff. So she's gonna be like, what the fuck? You snorted it.
I think
that was an accident.
Like that's part of
time.
My uncle gave me an espresso machine. I think part of it was he's just worried about my energy drink consumption. And you know what I'm doing is both. But anyway.
To be honest, I only drink them when I have to wake up at 6 a.m. to record something these days.
I drink them when I'm out.
When I was working in a restaurant doing like sometimes open and close multiple days in a row, I was drinking like 2 or 3 cans a day.
I've been up to like 6 at times, but it depends on if they're free. Yeah. If I'm at a convenience store, it's probably cheaper to buy an energy drink than to buy coffee. So,
not in Japan, baby.
Oh man, I miss Japanese coffee machines. Like
they're amazing
with the boss on them.
Yep, man.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what's in here?
Is
it just cans and cans of Boss coffee? Because they had a Zelda promotion. I wanted to enter the competition to win the jacket, so I bought 10 packs.
Hell yeah! I just have one of my cups that just says coffee.
Oh, nice. Now you know what's in it, unless you put Monster in it.
It's one of those like stacks of coffee cups.
He boils Monster and mixes it with instant coffee powder and drinks that.
Yeah, I just put hot water in it, mix it with Monster, and then just pour it into my ass.
Tasty.
All right.
Sorry, I'm fixing the Inglorious Bastards link because I accidentally put the wrong time on it. Okay. Yeah, so Mark, Monday night for you is Testament of Arcadia.
Right.
And then your Tuesday night, and Luke, your Wednesday morning is Inglorious Bastards.
That's cool. I imagine that's probably on Netflix, and I can just download it and watch it on the bus next week.
I mean, it should be a pretty easy to find film.
I meant to buy it, and I haven't gotten around to it yet. We'll see what happens.
I have the
Guess I
Blu-ray,
could
but I'll
just.
probably just to watch it on half of my screen. We'll probably end up downloading it anyway.
Yep.
Use a backup copy.
I just got a comment on my like um
Monster
let's
snorting.
see. No, my 16-year-old Darth Vader Numa Numa video.
What'd
Huh.
they say?
YouTubers just led me to a legend.
Nice.
There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
Hell
Can't
yeah.
argue with that.
37,000 views on that, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
Nothing we do will ever be successful as my YouTube videos from 20 years ago.
Some about that. Like, I think the most likes I've ever gotten on anything was like 30, and it was that fake Mentos Terminator 2 thing I did.
The most watched video I've ever had was the time I filmed Mark showing how to put
Wait, Mark, what
together the
fake Mentos
stereo.
Terminator 2 thing?
Didn't I send you the guys that?
Maybe? Because that's
That's not
ringing a
ringing a
bell,
bell.
and now I'm wondering if you sent it to me or if I've just seen it.
I just searched Mentos Terminator 2 and a bunch of people did the same joke, but I'll just put it in the channel or the app or the
There it
God damn
is.
it, the messenger. I
I
can't
see what
do
it is. You can
words.
stop explaining it now.
Sorry.
Everything's clear.
Oh, yeah,
10
Mark, I
10
can see
likes.
you. Oh, 519 views.
So yeah, that's it. And I don't know. I'm very proud of that because I think it was well executed, but a bunch of other people had the same idea because it's kind of an obvious idea, I think. So it's something about that film. It looks like a Mentos commercial, and I can't. It's like the film they used or something.
Sorry, I'm
Have
doing.
you seen Mentos the Fresh Maker?
The one with Van Damme in it.
No. This is a YouTube video that this is actually my introduction to Mentos commercials because we didn't have them in the UK.
Oh,
I'm gonna send
weird.
it to you right now. It's
Okay.
I mean it's dark humor.
Well, I mean, you could tell by the
in
thing I
like
just sent
in
you
the
that I like
edgy
dark humor.
2007 way.
Mark, do you remember when I filmed you showing how to hook up the home theater system?
No,
When I left America, I was selling my 5.1 whatever, and I needed to make a video for selling it.
I don't remember this at all.
Okay, anyway, that has 5.3K views.
What?
Which is insane because we just made it for that one person, but it doesn't even say what you're setting up, so I'm sure it's pissed off a lot of people. Let's see how many
How
if we
many
have bad
downvotes? How many dislikes? You can't.
how many
Do
bad
you get to see
comments.
it? Because I don't get to see. I don't think I see those anywhere.
How do you set up the AirPlay? Do you need an HDMI? Just more questions.
So it's basically people who are like have schizophrenia, like trying to communicate with
Like
the video.
like if I was hooking up a system, I'd like probably type in the specific hardware I'm using, right?
Mm.
Where this doesn't do it because it was just meant for one person. Anyway, just funny, and it has 5.3K views.
I don't even want to see it.
No, you don't. It's boring. It's not worth watching. Watch Luke's Batman video if you haven't seen it already.
No, yeah, that's the one I'm most proud of.
Have you seen that one?
Well, how do I get to it? How do I get to that?
Oh, you gotta sum
Send
that
you that
one.
next.
That's a
Just send
good
me
one.
that.
It's probably because you showed it to me like 3 years ago. So once Mark came on, we didn't like think about it. Uh,
So you know the bit in The Dark Knight where he rides the bike and it goes up a wall and turns around?
Hmm.
The video's me trying to recreate that.
Okay.
and it,
4.5K views on that one.
and of course features your mom and sister, right?
Oh yeah, my brother.
Uh,
And Mus. Mus is in this video.
Oh wow. Weird finding out what.
I guess now we have to watch Mark watch it because it's a fun watch.
Yeah. Still recording. You can upload it as Mark's reaction video.
Yeah, Mark, I guess you will need to send this to me because I hit my recording like a long time ago. If people want weird jibber jabber. Just what reaction videos are like. I never watched them. People just like
Kind
silence
of.
and
Sometimes, yeah.
No, you're supposed to be like,
tiny giggles.
Good ones aren't, but there are a lot that are like this.
Mark, give us a proper reaction video reaction. I think you have to make
He's
noise when you
making
do
the
that.
thumbnail, at least.
Yeah, he's making the thumbnail. I thought we were gonna get some screaming or something.
doing that made me like not focus on the video. Is funny. Did she just yell at you that you're Batman?
She's like, Batman has powers, not a bike. No, he does have a bike, and he goes up a wall. It's the best
And he
thing
doesn't
ever.
have powers.
Yeah. An idiot.
You just fell over in the grass.
Yeah. Must is the one filming for most of it, but he turns the camera on himself and says, "What a bunch of wankers." Oh no, what a bunch of twats. That's it. Why?
That's great. I'm gonna give you
I'm
your
actually
15th
synced up. That's
like.
amazing.
Hell yeah. Oh god, it started trying to show me the Apple Vision Pro.
Do you want to see the Apple Vision Pro?
No.
I don't even want to touch it. What if I drop it and then I owe someone $3,500?
Come on, touch the apple. Touch the
Touch
apple.
the apple.
Touch the apple.
I
The
don't
only
know.
good thing I've seen come out of the Apple Vision Pro is that someone showed that it had a fucking application to like show how long is left on something that's cooking. And then someone retweeted it with like, you can spend $3,000 to get Shinigami eyes for pasta.
I kind of it's fun the I mean I'm sure it was staged and totally fake, but there's like a video of a guy just riding his Cybertruck without the self-driving or whatever, just doing that with that.
Mhm.
Oh, you've just faded away. You're not there anymore. Kick something.
Me?
Yeah.
It's because you're slagging off corporate tech overlords in there.
Yeah, they found
You
a way
mean
to
the cool.
disable. No.
Oh,
Yeah,
now he's kicking.
you're literally making all kinds of fucking cyberpunk noises.
It's just I have shoes on top of my cords for no reason.
Are there feet in those shoes or just loose
Nope.
shoes?
Loose
I
shoes.
finally have a reasonable setup. How exciting.
That's awesome. Congratulations. No more hand holding, literally.
Yeah. It was fun though. It was an image. Okay.
No, I mean it was cool that you had your own style, but also
Yeah, you were the bad boy of podcasting for a little while there.
Yeah, that's right. But then the crackly boy of podcasting too, and I didn't like that. So
You've always been a cracker, mate.
I'm a Georgia cracker. Oh shit, that's recording. No, there used to be a baseball team called the Georgia Crackers.
Wow.
True.
Before it was the Braves, and that was an improvement.
That's not much better.
Kind of worse. And it just won't go away.
It changed the Washington name.
Yeah, the Washington one is like what? I want not the Washington Generals. They're like the Washington Commanders or
What
something.
they're called now, I have no clue. I don't care,
Commanders.
but I just know they finally changed it.
Well, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning the Super Bowl. Speaking of names that should be changed, anyway, whatever. It's at this point.
Did you see the post that was like what the football teams would be called if they were all named after the most abundant animal in their area? And then it was just like Kansas City ants, Kentucky ants, Louisiana ants, and just listed the whole league, but ants.
That's great. They should just name their teams for like the #1 Pornhub search in their state. If you look at that map, it's like simply like stepsister or the Kansas City Stepsisters or whatever, lesbians.
big tits.
And some of them are like,
The
wait,
South
genital
Dakota
torture?
German Scheisse videos.
CBT, what's that? Oh no.
Have you seen the video of the Wikipedia entry for CBT read by an electronic voice vocoded to the American national anthem?
No, but I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, I've given you all you need to find that one.
Yeah. Uh,
Right, I'd head to the
all
gym in
right.
a minute.
Yeah, I
Okay.
gotta eat some foods.
Yeah, Mark actually sent me this one. I'll give folks the
Oh yeah.
the wackiness and the minutes of silence while we're watching videos.
Awesome. I will
I mean the
do
Patreon
that.
folks, I mean.